guys, is that the Militant Man?
Hi everyone, I'm here with Endaf. How you doing, my man?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, good. So we're here celebrating St. David's Day, and we're going to be talking about BBC introducing and also your career and your singles as well. So yeah, so let's get into it. Tell us more about yourself. How do you get into DJing and stuff like that?
So I've got a baby face, but I'm actually 29 years old now, and I got into DJing when I was about 17 because I did this course in college, music production basically, and I just wanted a way to kind of perform the tracks I was making. So that's how I got into DJing. It was just a way to really perform my own music, you know. Yeah. So it's been like ever since then. It's like become like its own thing, and like, you know, I do it every weekend, and it's its own art, like alongside music production. They're completely different things, but they're sort of related at the same time, you know. So yeah, it's cool.
So how did that help you in terms of like your music and that?
Well, I think if you DJ a lot, it does help you, because if you're making that sort of music, you like instinctively know, like you familiarise yourself with it. You know how it's supposed to sound and the structure. So I think it's just like you can do it without thinking too much about it, because you live and breathe it every weekend. You know, when you're out DJing and all this sort of thing. Yeah,
that's good, dude. So like as a DJ,
yeah,
what is it that you love about the crowd experience? How you guys go back and forth with each other?
It's a really strange one. Sometimes I can get into it even if there's two people in the room, and then some nights they'll have like 300 people in the room and you can't get into it as much. But when you're just in that zone, you don't think about anything else. You're just there doing your thing, like you're mixing the music and things just happen. Because I'm not a very organised guy. Like I just wing everything. Like That's what I also love about DJing, because like you don't plan the DJ set. You know what I mean? You turn up there and then you've got to just wing it. You've got to see, okay, this is how we've got. They're into this, they're not into this, and you've got to just go for it. And I think that is really cool.
Okay. So like, as a DJ, what's like your favourite controller? Because a lot of DJs have different stuff. Like some people like USB, some people like it when you connect it to a laptop, of course.
So I mean, I've used it all really. I've got 1210s at home turntables, although I don't really use them much out in the clubs anymore because of vibrations. Really, I've been to so many gigs when I used to use this all the time, and the needle was jumping around all over the place. So these days I just use Pioneer CDJs. It's the kind of industry standard, really. You get them wherever you go. So you turn up to a club and they've usually got a set of CDJ 2000. So that's my preferred kind of setup at the moment. And then obviously I do a live thing as well, which we'll get more into later, I'm sure. So with that, it's kind of taking it to the next level. So there's a whole bunch of machines going on there.
So in regards to making your music, how do you go about doing that? What's the process like?
So
the steps that you take?
So at the moment, since the last year, I've got this live thing I was talking about, which is basically my studio setup as well. So I've got 2 flight cases with all the kit set up in it. I've got like drum machines, synthesizers, samplers, all this sort of thing. And it all runs into my computer, so usually what I'll do is I'll just jam around, make a tune, and then I'll push record. And I'm not really like thinking about it, I'm not making a song, I'm just playing around with all these machines, and by the time I'm done, I've got a rough track there. And then from there I can go through it and take the best bits out and produce it from there. So that's my kind of preferred way to do it now, because it's just a bit more natural there. And it's not just sat in front of a computer screen just clicking, which, you know, at times gets a bit tedious. So I find it's a bit more creative.
So you like being authentic and just kind of like going with the flow?
Again, like I said earlier, just winging it, and something special comes out of it, and that's the best feeling.
I like that still. So this year's going to be a big year for you, 2020, and you're part of BBC Introducing. So how did BBC Introducing come about, and like, how did it feel to be part of that amazing list?
So this whole BBC thing, we're kind of lucky in Wales because there's a big demand for this sort of music, and there's not that many people doing it really, this sort of electronic thing. So they've been supporting my music for years, and then there's this thing called Horizons, which is why I'm here today, where they support 12 artists in Wales every year, and I had a little tip like, oh, you should apply for this from my mate, so I went for it, and here I am now, and I'm doing all these crazy gigs with BBC, so yeah, happy days.
Okay, so what was it like? So you said that there's a feed people wanting that type of music in Wales, so what is it like now, the music scene in Wales? Because for us, like being in England and that, we kind of forget that there's actually a culture and there's actually a lot of stuff in Wales. So what is it like nowadays where there's a lot of social media and stuff like that? Is there actually a platform for people like yourself in Wales that's now easier? make music.
I think the platform has always been there. I just think mostly in Wales you've got lots of like bands, especially in the Welsh language as well. You've got a lot of like bands performing and writing music in the Welsh language, and they're really trying to push to get more electronic artists to do this sort of thing, because there's not massive amounts doing it really. So in one way, for me, it's kind of a good thing because there's less competition, you know. But also, like, it's good to be pushing the boundaries with that sort of thing, because I can be like one of the first people to be doing this in Welsh. So that's what I'm trying to achieve now. And I'm also, as a producer, trying to work with, I love working with other artists, so they're like vocalists, whatever, to make music. So I'm just finding these people around me, and there's so many people out there. So it's all about just making it happen, getting people in the studio and going for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So is it easier now because like social media to get other people in Wales to come in and work together? And
Yeah.
How's that collaborative culture like? Is it actually a collaborative culture?
So, social media is great because I've got friends that I've met, in life along the way that, I live hundreds of miles away now. So I think social media is a great way to keep in touch with friends and other artists that aren't in your local area. So I've made collaborations before over the internet. So I'll start off a tune, I'll send it over to another producer, he'll send it back to me. You can work that way. But I still think the best way is to be in the same room as that person, work together, and also sometimes you'll just bump into someone in the pub and be like, oh yeah, cool, I make music too, and then next thing you know they're in the studio. And I love that sort of natural thing to it. So because I'm a bit old school, like I hate being on my phone, and like social media, as amazing as it is, it kind of stresses me out sometimes. So I'm a bit useless. Luckily I've got my girlfriend / manager that helps me out with all that sort of things.
That's good though, but because I went to uni Wales, that kind of craziness where everyone's just friendly and you can just talk to somebody about something like, oh, I know this person, or I do this, and it's easier to have that kind of collaboration, this magic happen like that.
Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about you for a second, and like your single, Rest of Me, coming out soon.
Yeah.
So what's the motivation behind that single?
So I made this track a while ago now, and at the time I'm always buying music equipment, buying gear, and at the time the piece of gear I bought before I made that track, it was like an old Tascam 4-track cassette recorder, and I was obsessed with getting this like sort of old school lo-fi kind of sound, and I tried to do it with plugins and stuff before, and it just wasn't happening. So I bought this cassette recorder, and a lot of the stuff, the sounds and samples I've recorded onto cassette and back into the track, and I finally got that sound I was after. So that was like, I guess it was that piece of kit that really defined that track more than anything. It's like it was literally like an old thing from eBay that probably was collecting dust in someone's like garage. But yeah, no, it adds like a little bit of magic to the sound there for sure.
So when's that single out then?
It's out a week on Friday, so Friday the 13th, actually. Yeah.
Lucky day. So 2020, what's the next step for you? What's the plan to put out more music, or the strategy or something?
So I want to put out, so obviously I've got a brand called Hydrate Grooves. I've been doing events around North Wales for years under that brand, and now I'm branching out into starting a record label with it. So this will be my third release on Hydrate Grooves. I'm planning on every month or so putting something out on that, but also the focus of this year for me is going to be my live set, which is why I'm here today. So I'm with BBC Horizons. I'm going to be performing it in Maida Vale down the road. And I want to be doing more of that. I want to perform that in front of different venues, different festivals, hopefully, and just see how it goes. Take it from there, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's St David's Day, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about Wales, especially. So for you, what is it about Wales and the artists in Wales that motivates you to make your music?
I guess I've lived in Wales all my life. I was born in Carnarvon, I grew up there, then I went to uni in Cardiff, the capital. And I don't know, I'm always around like these people, and I just get on like with, honestly I get on with anyone, but being in Wales, there's all these opportunities that I feel like it would be harder, they're not as accessible in England, maybe because of especially in London, the competition here is just insane.
Yeah,
everyone's a DJ these days,
Yeah.
So I think that's the one probably thing. Like in Wales, that's not such. That it's not a problem because it's a good thing that you got more people doing it, you know.
Yeah.
But also it helps you stand out. Helps me stand out a bit, yeah.
So in regards to the Wales scene, what do you think's next for Wales and like the scene in general? Because for me, I think that when I was in uni in Wales, you could see something of it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's something there. Like,
Definitely.
I don't know if there's a band called Pascal or something like that in North Wales.
Yeah.
There's a sick band, there's like Hannah 2K.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
people like that coming up. What do you think's next for these people to just have like a scene like in Birmingham or like Manchester? What is it next to make sure Wales is seen as a place to be, a place to be reckoned with?
Well, I think you know, like these bands you're talking about, even though some of them are doing music in Welsh, like you see them like they're playing in England, America, like all over Europe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem to be like a barrier anymore. And I think, I don't know, maybe in the past there's been that barrier where you're either doing this in Wales or you're doing the English stuff outside. I think like people don't care anymore. This generation is just like, nah man, just do whatever.
It sounds good. It sounds
yeah, exactly. So I think that barrier's come down now, and maybe there's different people sort of holding the reins to the whole thing, and a new generation coming through. So I don't know what's coming, but I hope it's going to be good. That it feels like something it's going in the right direction for sure.
So yeah, as I said, I went uni Wales, but one thing I did say, when I researched it, I didn't know you actually were part of it. High grade schools.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so I've always imagined you always see them everywhere. So what is that about? Like you said, it's a record label and stuff like that. What is that about?
So I actually started that back when I was a bit younger. I was DJing, making music, and I was having trouble finding gigs because no one wants to give, you know, this new kid on the block who's like unproven, like no one wants to give you a chance. It's hard, and especially me, I was a bit of an introvert back those times. So I started this just to make, you know, if no one's going to give me a gig, right, I'm going to make my own. And it kind of grew from there into becoming like, you know, a successful business really. So yeah, I'm doing that every week now in a Cube nightclub in Bangor. And we're trying to bring as many DJs into it as possible, keeping it fresh. But no, we've had some good parties all over the place.
I've been to a couple of them.
Yeah.
They're good fun. And it's different as well because, especially like when I was in uni, I keep saying when I was in uni, but when I was there, like you guys provided an atmosphere that I think it was kind of a big thing, but also was creative and different.
Yeah.
So I think it's always good to have like stuff like that. But as you said, DJs come in.
Yeah.
So do you guys make sure that you kind of take DJs under your wing, or just let them do their own thing?
No, Joe, we do try to take people under our wing because, you know, I'll see people that are dead keen and they want to get into it, and you know, if they come up to me and talk to me, then I'm all ears. Yeah. So, you know, I've had a couple of lads that I've helped out. You know, maybe we'll go to the venue an hour before it opens and I'll let them have the spin on the decks, which, you know, obviously costs like $6,000 or something for a set of like club standard decks really, so that is inaccessible to a lot of these people. So I'll let them come in, have a spin before the club opens. Next thing you know, they're DJing for us every other week, do you know what I mean? And they're bringing a crowd in, and like they really appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm always happy to help newcomers out because, you know, no one really kind of gave me that chance when I was younger. I kind of made things happen for myself, and
you were the same for the people coming up.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really nice. That's really nice. So for like North Wales and that, so what's so special about North Wales and that scene? It's just like microcosm. What you doing?
Yeah, North Wales is a bit crazy because you've got a bit of everything in a tiny little area. Really. So you've got like you know, all these kind of hippie kind of types. They'll go and put on a raid in like an old quarry or an old like bunker, like World War II bunker or something. So that's like fun. So you know, the other end of the spectrum, you've got your venues and stuff. But I think when I started, we were doing it in tiny little venues, like say 100, 200, 300 capacity, in like quirky little places, and that's where it all came from. And it's a shame because a lot of these kind of places they're closing down and stuff at the moment. I think it's a problem across the country, you know, not just North Wales.
And it's annoying though, because annoying for me because when I was young, I used to see all my older friends go to a club and I'm like, I want to go there. Now I'm old, I'm like, it's closed down.
It's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah. But do you think that's a good, for me, I think it's a bad thing but a good thing, because being especially in North Wales, there's not much really you can do, especially in that entertainment, so you have to make your own thing.
Yeah.
So do you think that helps people be creative?
No, because the spaces just aren't there to be creative. Like you're so limited in terms of the spaces that you've got. Because we had this amazing place before called the Greek, which is probably the party. It's like such a one of a kind sort of place. Like no, it's just in Bangor, but it feels like literally in Greece when you're inside the place. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that helped kick everything off me. Really, just that kind of, it's a bit quirky, it's a bit different, and I love stuff like that. So it's a shame that all these places are losing them, Yeah.
So what's the next for High Grade? What's the next plan for you? So what's next thing going forward?
I think, like I said, I'm going to focus. For now, I've only been putting out my own songs and collaborations with other artists. But I want to get other people involved. I just wanted to get the ball rolling before, someone putting out a tune on a brand new record. The ball's really rolling now. We've had some releases been played on Radio 6, Radio 1, Radio Wales, and all that sort of thing. So I think now I'm ready to, give that platform over to other DJs and producers that are doing it. Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a while. So what's the one thing that when you're on your journey that you're like, okay, cool, this is something I want to do full time and take this to the next level?
One thing, I think it's been a series of things, because that has always been in my head ever since I was about 16 and I went to my first festival and I was enjoying electronic music for the first time. Ever since then I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, but no one really takes it seriously. You think, oh, you can't make a career out of that.
Yeah.
But after going to college, going to uni, running a business, doing this sort of thing. Now I'm a bit older, I'm oh, hang on, I'm actually doing it already, yeah? So it's just about, I quit my job a few weeks ago because I did have a full-time job as well. So I'm literally all in now doing this at the moment. So it's got to work out. So hopefully that pressure will
So now you've kind of put that bet on yourself. Has that helped you out, or was that kind of putting pressure on yourself?
The pressure's always there, and I think the pressure was there even more before because I had all this stuff I wanted to do and I didn't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So now I've actually got the time to do it.
No excuses now.
So the pressure's always there, but the pressure's a good thing because, like I said, I'm not very organised, and if there's no pressure, I won't get anything done. So I look at it in a positive way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. So man, so how do people find you on social media and that?
I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. It's just Endaf _. There's a bunch of videos of me there in my studio, playing around with my live set and gigs and stuff. You can find me on Spotify. That's where I'm trying to push all my music at the moment. Just Endaf, and hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more of me on the radio and all that sort of thing as well. So just keep an eye out.
So when do you do your lives and that? When do you do that?
I'm doing one today. It's going to be live streamed in literally in an hour or something.
Yeah.
Then after that, I'm on Melodic Distraction in a week or two. Can't remember off the top of my head now. That's going to be a live stream as well. I'll keep an eye on it on my Instagram and my Facebook, and you can keep up with all my tour dates and everything.
Okay, yeah. Heard it first, but yeah, man, thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Have a good time tonight.
Yeah, nice one, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.